Today we're going to go over how to use Vlookup in Excel. Now this is a handy function, so it'll let us look up a value and get its corresponding value that matches it in the same row from the data set you choose. So here in our example, we're going to want to enter somebody's name into this cell E2 and then get their phone number over here in F2. So to do that, we'll do that the way we start any Excel function. So we're going to start or enter into F2 equal Vlookup, and we can enter each of the arguments into here, or an easier way, especially for a complex function like Vlookup, we can press this insert function button over here, and then we look up our function Vlookup. We get that, and then we can select that here. So now this will give us all these input fields, and this will make it a lot easier, especially for Vlookup. So first it wants the lookup value, so that's going to be the name that we're looking up, and then it'll give us a number. So we're going to be putting the name into this cell, E2. So we click that and it'll put it into the lookup value. Then it wants the table array. So this is going to be pretty much the data set that you want to look through and find the name in. So we're going to want to select all of this data, all the names and the numbers. That's going to be A2 through B9 as our table array. And then next you want the column index number. So this is going to be the column index number of the column that has all the values you want to spit out. So in this case we want to do the column that has the phone numbers, which is going to be our second column, so we'll put 2. Now if this data set were in different columns, such as M and N over here, such as, let's say we had M2 through N9 selected, then we would still have our column index number be 2, since we're selecting the second column of our selected data, not the second column of the Google sheet itself, or the Excel sheet itself. So lastly, we have this range lookup. So that's going to require either true or false, and it's going to be an optional field to fill, although most times we want to put false, since that will mean that Vlookup will be searching our lookup value for an exact match. If you don't put it in, it'll default to true, which will mean it'll look for the closest match in ascending order. So that can get kind of tricky and mess up a lot of your Vlookups. So false, looking for the exact match, is oftentimes better. So we're going to have that selected. We're going to press OK. And now we get this NA error. So that means that it didn't find our lookup value in the data set. And that's because our lookup value is blank and it's not in here. So now if we enter in somebody that is in there, such as Bob, we're going to get Bob's phone number. Or likewise we can do Jim and get Jim's phone number. So that is the power of Vlookup. Now one more cool trick I want to go over is naming our table arrays before we do the Vlookup. So this can be kind of handy. So if we go over to formulas and we select our data set, we can do define name, and we can name it here such as phone numbers and press OK. And so now whenever you select this, it'll come up as phone numbers over here. So now if we want to redo our Vlookup, let's say Vlookup, we do our lookup value, we can now also enter phone numbers instead of selecting the range again. And we'll do all the same stuff. Column 2, false, and put the name back in, and it'll work just how it did. So that can be handy if you need to reference the data set over and over, or if it's a lot to select as you're creating your Vlookup. So yeah, that's another cool trick.